what do we think about Jadon Sancho? Because obviously came in, got his move from Manchester United, escaped what he felt he needed to at that time. Yep. What have you made of his Chelsea career so far, Jason?
Still waiting for that performance, that convincing performance. Still waiting for him to show the form that made him. I don't know if you remember this when he was at Dortmund. Dortmund won 140 million just before COVID.
Yeah.
Right, 120 million, there or thereabouts. I've not seen that player yet. Other than in a Dortmund shirt, I'm yet to see, and this is a United shirt, an England shirt, and a Chelsea shirt. Having said that, I'm still waiting for Neto to show me the player I believe he is. So I'm still waiting. This is a Chelsea team that relies on these players to give us creativity, to give us width. I don't see Sancho taking players on. He comes inside, looks for the easy pass. At the moment, we're going through that little bit of a dip, and he's very much part of it. But I'm looking at Neto on the other side. Look at Noni. Need more from my wide men. I mean, what's happened to me? Should we, we'll wait to see what happens with that.
I miss him.
Well, but I'm still waiting for Sancho to deliver a consistent performance that every week you want to see, and he should be delivering.
I'm with you, Jason. Kwaku, what?
I really like Jadon Sancho as a footballer. I think he's a really good footballer. But the issue that he's got is that he is a little bit of a luxury player. And so I think in a team that have got really highly technical footballers and things are ticking and things are going well, Jadon Sancho will look amazing. He's not somebody that you want to be in the trenches with, but I think in terms of footballing ability, I love to watch him play the game. I think he's so good. I think we saw glimpses of that earlier on in the season. The goal against Spurs was great. He's got a couple of decent assists as well. I know that his numbers are not amazing. And if you think about Jadon Sancho when he was at Dortmund, the numbers were everything. He had the season once where he got 20 goals and 20 assists. He was putting up big numbers in Germany. And we haven't seen that, like Jay said, at Manchester United or at Chelsea yet. But I do still have him in my best Chelsea 11. I do still think that he's a player that can give you so much if the team's ticking. But like I say, he's a little bit luxury and we need to see more from Jadon. I can't deny it, we need to see more. I'm looking at your face right now, you disagree, but I think Jadon Sancho is a very, very good footballer.
I think based off of what we've seen at Dortmund, he's a very, very good footballer. Based off of what we've seen at Manchester United and at Chelsea, I'm just not convinced. 1 assist in 11. I feel like Jason, I'm still waiting for something. And how have we gone through 3 quarters of the season and I'm still waiting for something from Jadon Sancho?
Yeah, I understand that. It's difficult to fight the corner when you look at the numbers and he hasn't given you many numbers. But I just look at his...
I don't like basing a winger's game on numbers, right? I never have. I like watching football with my eyes, and I can tell if Jadon Sancho has a good game, whether he scores or assists. Same as Cole Palmer, I can tell.
Yeah.
But with Jadon Sancho, I don't even know if he has a lot of good games, even just from watching him.
Well, think about the first half, Palace away. He was absolutely amazing. He was incredible in that game. Like, he has got those moments in him. They're not consistent enough, and to be a world-class player, you need to be consistent. I think the frustration is maybe you want to see him be a bit more front-footed and taking on players.
Yeah, I think
but that's the same as the whole team.
Yeah, that's what I want to see us do as a unit, taking teams on, being braver in possession, taking a few risks. Everything's a bit too safe, a bit too predictable, and a bit too easy to play against right now.
I mean, Sancho, this is quite ironic because Sancho's, at his best at Dortmund, playing with freedom. He used that word this week, I'm sure you'll have seen, commenting on Marcus Rashford's post when he was obviously started or came on for Aston Villa after making that loan move from Manchester United. He commented freedom. What did you make of that, Jason?
Well, I mean, it's fine. I mean, the modern day footballer now, this is something that you kind of wait for them to do. I still go back to him, bring it back to you. I want to see that freedom from Jadon because he's going to join. It's a loan with not an option, it's an obligation now that we will sign.
Yeah.
But Maresca will know that. Maresca, what's he doing to get the best out of Jadon? How can we get the best out of Neto? Because if you've got wide men, the system that we play, if they don't deliver, then you're relying on one man, and that's Palmer. And then you're almost saying to yourself, well, if Palmer doesn't deliver, where are the goals coming from? Where are the assists coming from? Everyone in that front line has got to do more to help out Cole.
I would also say, with with the wingers and with Jadon Sancho, we saw him at his best at Dortmund because he had the likes of Rafael Guerreiro as the fullback who's making those overlapping and underlapping runs. And it helped Jadon Sancho in terms of creating space. Like you mentioned at the beginning of the show, Liv, our fullbacks don't do that. No, and that makes your winger's job way harder. The reason why Mo Salah is incredible is because you've got Trent behind him. Trent's making those runs, whether it's on the inside or the outside. If your fullbacks aren't making those runs, you are kind of isolated as a winger and your job is a lot harder. So I think the system has a reason to play in terms of our wingers not being as effective as we want them to be, because when the fullback has to think about not only the winger but also your fullback taking them on, then it's a bigger problem. And I feel like if we were to unlock our wingbacks or unlock our fullbacks a little bit more, we might see the best from our
I think that's
wingers.
a great point, but Maresca's come out and said he's not going to do that.
But then surely it's Maresca's job as a manager to adapt when things are going wrong and not be so stuck in your ways that you're never going to let your... And we have some brilliant attacking fullbacks. We have got, like Cucurella, Malo Gusto and Reece James, arguably three of the best attacking fullbacks. Maybe Gusto slightly less, but Reece James and Cucurella we've seen get into brilliant positions. We've seen it Mark Cucurella, he inverts a little bit. And,
he comes inside. That's not offering width in support out wide.
But he can because of what he did at Brighton.
He's not doing
How good... But this is what I mean. Why can't Maresca allow his fullbacks to do that?
We saw it. Remember Bournemouth away? We saw Cucurella and Jadon Sancho link up when Jadon Sancho came on at half-time, and it worked. But we don't see it that often. We need to see our fullbacks. And again, it's down to Maresca. He's got more tactical nous than I have. But I like to see fullbacks go on the outside. If we want to create that width and go in behind, but it's not happening though.
You don't think he will?
Every presser that he's been asked, he says he won't do that. Now, it's not to say that he won't, but right now, it's not happening. I don't see it. He plays inverted fullbacks. That's the system. Comes inside. He's a possession-based manager. But that's fine. But then when you've got the ball, we've got to do more with it, got to move it quicker because we are too predictable, we are too slow. And centrally, that's how I feel we're a bit too easy to play against. In particular, they had two players, Soucek was in there, Soler was alongside him. And all they're doing, they're looking over the shoulder, they played that little box around Palmer. Couldn't get... And all that you're doing when you're inverted, for me, is you're making that space that's congested even more congested. That's why the wide men are so important. But if there is no support out wide, you've got to come back in, and it feels that there's a pattern and it becomes a bit too monotonous, a bit too predictable. I think Maresca will change because think about who he learned off of, right? He learned off Pep Guardiola at Man City. And Pep was the person who brought the inverted fullbacks to English football. But Jace mentioned it. What does City do against us? It's Vardiol's, Mateus Nunes out wide, fullbacks that are bombing on and going out wide. I think Maresca has the ability to change. Whether he'll do it in season remains to be seen. But I do think he will be flexible enough if he sees that that's something that can benefit the team. I don't think he's so stuck in his ways that he won't do it. He said he's going to stick with Robert Sanchez. We all think he's probably dropped. I think Maresca is clever enough to assess the situation and change, but I do think fullbacks being out wide and bombing on will definitely help the rest of the team. Palace away first half, in fact most of the game, the fullbacks didn't invert. They stayed as a four at the back, pretty much as a four. And I felt that middle of the park was a little bit too open. I felt that Enzo got overrun a little bit in the middle of the park. And I think that is a concern for Maresca. The system that we play, with Palmer going up alongside Jackson, the two wide men, that we are left a bit open in the middle of the park. So it's about getting a balance.
Yeah.
Getting that balance right.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.